Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a fascinating look at a specific travel experience, a 14 days Finland tour from Singapore. We've got some source materials here, basically descriptions of this tour, its itinerary, what's included, what's not, and a bit about the company, finlandtour.fi. So our mission today is really to pull out the key info, help you understand what an adventure like this actually involves, and maybe figure out if this kind of trip is, something that might appeal to you.
Exactly. And this isn't just positioned as any old trip, right? The sources frame it as a real bucket list adventure.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about capturing that Arctic magic, from exploring cities like Helsinki to chasing the northern lights way up north.
Okay, so let's unpack this itinerary then. It's a 14-day tour, 13 nights, designed for 2 people. Starts and ends in Helsinki, which seems logical.
Right. So day one is your arrival in Helsinki. Pretty light, just settling in. Makes sense after a long flight from Singapore.
Uh-huh.
Day two is rated moderate. It involves a half-day trip out to Porvoo.
Porvoo, the old wooden town.
That's the one. Includes a 60-minute guided tour, time for lunch. And interestingly, they actually suggest a specific Singaporean Asian restaurant there.
Oh, really? That's a thoughtful touch.
Yeah, maybe to ease people in.
Yeah.
Then day three, things get a bit more intense.
Yes.
It's a moderate day, but you fly domestically from Helsinki up to Kirkenes.
Kirkenes, that's in Norway, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And the plan, if it's available, is a king crab hunt tour there.
Wow, okay. A king crab hunt. That sounds like a proper adventure. Including Norway and a Finland tour is interesting.
It definitely broadens the scope, adds a unique kind of rugged Arctic element right near the start.
So after the crab hunts,
Day four is marked as high hectic. It's a transfer day over to Saraselki in Finnish Lapland. But the payoff is checking into an enchanting igloo room. One of those glass-roofed ones.
yes, for the Northern Lights.
Exactly. And that evening features a magical reindeer sledge Northern Lights hunt. Very classic Lapland.
Sounds incredible.
Then day five dials it back a bit to moderate. You do a 2-hour snowmobile safari. So you get the thrill, but it's not an all-day trek.
Right. I'm noticing a pattern here. A busy travel or transfer day, then maybe a more focused activity day.
Precisely. It seems designed to manage energy levels. Day 6 is another high hectic transfer, this time to Levi.
Levi, the ski resort town.
Yeah, that's it. And again, the evening activity is another Northern Lights hunt, but this time by minibus. Different approach.
Okay. Trying different methods to see the lights. Makes sense.
And day 7 in Levi is moderate, focusing on a self-guided 5-kilometer husky safari.
Self-guided, so you actually drag the sled yourself.
That's what it implies, yeah. Which is pretty hands-on for a package tour. A great experience.
Definitely. Okay, so after Levi.
Then comes the big Rovaniemi section. Day 8 is another high hectic transfer day to get there, followed by, guess what?
Let me guess. Another Northern Lights tour.
You got it. By bus this time. They're really maximizing those chances.
Fair enough. It's a key reason people go, after all.
Absolutely. Now, day 9 in Rovaniemi is moderate, but it's packed. This is the Santa Claus Village Day. Meeting Santa, crossing the Arctic Circle, you get a certificate, a shorter 500-meter husky sledge ride, and visiting Snowman World.
Wow, that's the full Christmas magic experience packed into one day.
Pretty much. It hits all those iconic Rovaniemi notes.
What about day 10? Still in Rovaniemi.
Yes. Day 10 is moderate and features something really unique. The icebreaker cruise.
An icebreaker.
Yeah, and not just watching it. The description highlights the experience of floating in the icy sea.
Floating in the Arctic Sea.
In a special survival suit, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty thrilling and memorable, I'd imagine.
That's definitely a bucket list item for some.
For sure. Then day 11 is a lighter day. A visit to Reindeer Zoo.
Reindeer Zoo. What's special about that?
It focuses on Arctic animals. So you can see polar bears, lynx, reindeer, moose, that sort of thing, in spacious, more natural enclosures. It's a nice change of pace.
Okay, a bit calmer after the icebreaker.
Exactly. Then the journey starts to wind down. Day 12 is high hectic. Again, it's the flight from Rovaniemi back down to Helsinki.
Right, completing the loop.
Yep. Day 13 is then a light, free day in Helsinki. Good for last-minute souvenir shopping or maybe an optional tour if you have the energy.
Gives people a bit of flexibility at the end.
And day 14 is just light departure day.
Okay, looking at that whole flow, it really does build, doesn't it? Starts in the city, goes deep into the wilderness and activities, hits the iconic Santa stuff, then loops back.
It really does. It feels like a well-thought-out progression, balancing the travel, the activities, and the different types of Arctic experiences.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What exactly does the package include?
Okay, so accommodation is covered for all 13 nights. That's the 2 nights in Helsinki at the start, 1 in Kirkenes, 2 in Sariselka, 2 in Levi, 4 in Rovaniemi, and then the final 2 back in Helsinki.
Having all the hotels sorted is a big plus.
Definitely. Then, flights and transfers. The key domestic flights are included Helsinki to Kirkenes and Rovaniemi back to Helsinki.
That's crucial. Those internal flights can be tricky to book and expensive.
Absolutely. Plus, you get private airport transfers and also private transfers between the main Arctic towns, Kirkenes to Sariselka, Sariselka to Levi, and Levi to Rovaniemi.
Private transfers, so no wrestling luggage onto public buses in the snow.
Exactly. That adds a lot of comfort and convenience, especially in winter.
And the activities, you mentioned a lot. Are they all included?
Pretty much all the ones we discussed.
Yeah.
The Porvoo half-day trip, the king crab safari, the reindeer sledge, northern lights hunt, the snowmobile safari, those various northern lights tours by bus and minibus, the husky safari in Levi, the whole Santa Claus village experience day, the Rano Zoo visit, and that icebreaker cruise.
That's a comprehensive list.
It is. Now, here's a slightly odd thing. One part of the source material also lists a Turku tour as included.
Turku! But that didn't come up in the day-by-day plan.
No, it didn't. Turku's on the coast, quite a distance from the other locations. It's a bit confusing. Could be an optional thing or maybe outdated info.
Definitely something a potential booker would need to clarify.
For sure. Always good to double-check those details.
Okay, so that's what's in. What about the major things that are not included, what you need to budget for separately?
Right. The big one is international flights. So your flights from Singapore to Helsinki and back are on you.
Standard for many local tour packages, gives flexibility.
Exactly. Also, lunch and dinner are generally excluded throughout the trip.
Okay, so food costs need to be factored in daily.
Yes, and visa assistance is listed as excluded. But, as we mentioned, for Singaporean passport holders, a visa usually isn't needed for Schengen stays up to 90 days.
But there are still entry requirements, right?
Oh, absolutely, the usual stuff.
Yeah.
Passport needs to be valid for at least 3 months after you plan to leave, a couple of blank pages, proof of onward travel, enough funds, they suggest, around €30 per day, and proof of accommodation, which the tour booking would cover.
Got it. Now, you mentioned something earlier that kind of jumped out regarding insurance.
Yes. This was quite interesting. In the main included-excluded list, it says insurance is excluded.
Okay, so you'd need to buy your own travel insurance.
That's what you'd think. But then in the FAQ section of the source, it explicitly says, no, insurance is included in the tour cost.
Wait, what? It says it's included.
Yes. And it even adds that travel insurance covering medical emergencies up to €30,000 is a requirement for visa purposes anyway.
So it's excluded in one place and included in another. That's contradictory.
It is. It's a perfect example of why you need to read everything carefully and honestly confirm directly with the provider. Which insurance policy applies? Is it just basic medical? What about cancellation, luggage?
Absolutely critical to clarify that one. Wow. Okay, what about the cost? Any idea of the price range?
The source mentions a starting price from $7,000 per adult. That's roughly SGD 10,800.
Per person based on 2 people traveling.
That's right. And starting from a Caro implies it could vary based on dates, specific availability, maybe optional extras, but it gives you a ballpark figure.
Okay, so shifting gears slightly, let's talk about the company behind this finlandtour.fi. What did the sources tell us about them?
Well, it identifies finlandtour.fi as a subdomain of a parent company called Eurotrail LLC. And it mentions they've been a member, presumably, of whatever platform the source is from, since 2024. Crucially, it provides a DUNS number.
A DUNS number, what's the significance of that?
It's basically a unique global business identifier from Dun & Bradstreet. Having one adds a layer of legitimacy and verification. It tells you it's a recognized business entity, not just, some random website. It helps build trust, especially when booking online internationally.
That's actually really useful information, a good sign of a legitimate operation.
Yeah, it suggests a certain level of established business practice.
And what about feedback? Were there reviews for this specific tour?
Yes, the source mentioned a 4.6 out of 5 rating based on 5 reviews for this specific 14-day Singapore tour.
4.6 is pretty good.
Yeah.
What did the reviewers highlight?
They seemed really positive. One named Cheryl called the tour stood out, and Finland stunning, praising how easy and seamless the package made everything. She loved the husky safari and reindeer sledge.
Sounds like the logistics were handled well, which is key in the Arctic.
Definitely. Another reviewer, Jeremy, liked the guide's care and mentioned Singaporean touches, finding it worth every cent.
Singaporean touches again. Interesting. Maybe language support or understanding specific needs?
Could be. And Elaine shared a family perspective. Kids loved Santa and Snowman World. Adults were amazed by the icebreaker. She specifically said, even though the temperatures were freezing, everything was so comfortable and well arranged.
That addresses a big potential concern, being cold and uncomfortable. So they seem to manage the comfort aspect well.
It sounds like it. The feedback suggests they deliver on that promise of a memorable but also manageable Arctic trip.
Does the finlandtour.fi site offer other tours besides this specific one?
Oh yes, the sources indicate they have a range of options. Things like a 9-day Rovaniemi and Tromsø combination tour, tours including Norway's Lofoten Islands, shorter Rovaniemi packages. They also categorize tours by type: Christmas, New Year, Northern Lights, general winter tours. So they seem to specialize in this region and season.
Makes sense. And practical stuff like payment and contact.
They mention secured payment gateways, which is important, and multiple contact methods, including email and WhatsApp.
WhatsApp is handy for quick questions before booking or maybe even during the trip.
For sure. Makes them feel more accessible.
Okay, so pulling this all together, this deep dive into the 14 days Finland tour from Singapore really paints a picture of quite an immersive Arctic adventure. We've seen the flow, from the city start, through the wilderness activities, the Santa magic, even floating in the icy sea. It's packed.
Yeah, and we've seen the detailed inclusions, flights, transfers, those key activities, alongside the important exclusions like international flights and meals. And that interesting little quirk with the insurance information.
Right. Don't forget the insurance clarification.
Never. And we got a sense of the provider, finlandtour.hi-fi, looking like a legitimate operator with strong positive reviews focused on seamlessness and comfort.
It really does sound like a blend of, proper excitement and that quiet winter beauty. They seem to handle the tough logistics so you can focus on the experience.
Which leads to a really interesting question for you, the listener, doesn't it? In today's world where you can customize everything and plan DIY trips, how much value do you personally put on a comprehensive prepackaged tour like this? One that takes care of almost everything in a potentially challenging environment, making it comfortable and relatively easy, even if it means maybe less flexibility or navigating those small contradictions in the info provided, versus the challenge and potential personalization of planning it all yourself.
That's a great question to ponder. Convenience versus control, especially for a trip like this. Something to think about as you dream up your next big adventure. Thanks for diving deep with us today.